Welcome to the Thriving Artist Podcast, where we share strategies and support for artists to thrive.
We know that the art world can feel like a lonely place, and we want to provide a network of support, impactful strategies, and an abundance of encouragement to help you grow your authentic art career.
We're your hosts. I'm Jamie Smith.
And I'm Kaylan Butine, and we are also the co-founders of the Thrive Together Network, a community of female and non-binary identifying artists and artists who are caregivers.
We truly believe in community over competition, and we're so glad you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome to our first episode of 2023. Happy New Year. I'm Kaylan Butine, one of your hosts of the Thriving Artist Podcast, and I just celebrated my 36th birthday. I'm a very close, but not quite New Year's baby. Jamie, what are you celebrating right now?
Hi, friends. I'm Jamie Smith. I'm your second host, and I recently celebrated the birth of my amazing business partner, Kaylan Butine.
Oh, I set you up for that one, didn't I?
Oh, yeah. The world got lucky this day. No, I am very happy to be celebrating a new year and a new thriving year together. So it's really, really exciting. And of course, we could not start off the new year without doing an episode on planning ahead and organizing. And yeah, we really want to help you map out a great art year. So we're so excited to dive in. Kaylan, go ahead.
Yes, this is definitely our jam. So we wanted to start out the year strong with this episode on how to map out a great art year. I think the first step in mapping out a great year is to set your compass. And I think this is something that sometimes people forget about because we want to jump right into the goals, right? But identifying what is important to you, what your intentions are for the year, and also how you want to feel in the year ahead is really the first step in mapping out a great year, because everything kind of comes after that. We have to know where we are going in order to sort of make our plan. And we have to, really connect with our core, connect with our intentions before we can set our goals. So this is not just something that we can do in our heads too. I think a lot of times we just think we know this, we know what we want, we know what our intentions are. But we really encourage you to write out your intentions for the year because it really helps you process in more ways than you would think. Once I start writing something down, all of these other thoughts come up, and it's like I've physically taken the time to process this thing that I thought I had worked out all in my head. So I'm just wondering if this is the same for you, Jamie. Do you feel like you get a richer understanding of your intentions when you do a writing exercise for them?
Yeah, I always joke at Art and Tea because I'm big into reflection time. So if you're listening and you come, thank you so much. And I always I write these prompts, but then I sit there with a blank page and think, oh, no, I know this. I don't need to write this down.
Yeah.
The minute I start writing, I get so much more clarity. Other things come out. It's just for me, and it's how I actually process most things in my life, as I do a lot of journaling, and the writing process I think helps so much. And what I love so much about this, first step is sort of set your compass, is that you haven't mentioned goals, Kaylan.
Right.
And I think it's so easy to jump into the new year with all of these things we want to do. And by setting intention and this idea of a compass, I just think was going to create such a richer year, and also a year where you're going to get these true things done versus a whole list of stuff, which we're talking more about throughout this whole episode. But I just think it's so important that you're using the word intention versus goal setting.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, in everything that we do at the Thriving Artists Podcast and the Thrive Together Network, we're, wanting you to connect to the wholeness of yourself as a human, as well as an artist. This is not just ways to boost your career. it is that, but also how to do it in a way that actually feels healthy and sustainable for you. So it's
Mhm.
all kind of wrapped up in our more holistic approach to being an artist in the world. So you can set your compass by just doing some free writing about, what you want this year to look like for you, how you want to feel. But we also recommend our North Star activity, which is a guided activity that's included in the Thriving Artist Map. The Thriving Artist Map is our workbook that accompanies all of the content we do on the Thrive Together network, all of the content that we do in our community. And it also has a lot of planning and scheduling tools to keep you on track with your goals. If you're not a member of our community, we actually have gifted you the North Star activity, and you can find this on our website at thrivetogethernetwork.com. So that's a great place to start to kind of help you in this writing and processing as you set your compass for the year, which is step 1.
And
So,
the North Star activity, I love because we've done this already in our community. And it's just such a great way to get clear on what you're doing and why. And
yep.
I think it's way less intimidating than an artist statement. Like my
Yes.
feedback from running it, because I ran it in my crit crew as well. And it was this feeling of, is this an artist statement? It's like, no, this is free writing. This is setting your
Right.
compass, your intention. And most of my group are going to use many of the lines they wrote for their artist statement. So again, writing in your art practice is huge. And this is a great time of year to get clear, and doing something like a North Star activity, you're creating writing that can be reused in so many ways.
Well, and just one more point about the North Star is that the writing that you do prompted by us on the North Star activity is for you. It's not for the public. Whereas an artist statement, it's kind of published publicly. It's something that goes on your website. And the North Star, like, yeah, you might use it as inspiration for some writing that you do, like on Instagram or other things, but it's for you. So it can be whatever you want it to be.
It's
So
very freeing.
yes. Jamie, why don't you take us into step 2 for how to map out a great art year?
Well, I love this because, when we're mapping out a great art year, of course, we want to set our compass, we want to set our intentions. And in that, I think what starts to come out is sort of our step number 2, identify our don'ts and our no's, which are so powerful. So once we get clear on what we want, Kaylan, you're always such a good reminder of this when we're doing these prompts, is what are we making space for? And if we want all these things, we're going to have to say no to a lot of things as well, which I think we forget about. We just want to fill and add, but actually I think it's discipline and then sticking to these no's, right? So we highly recommend that you spend some time to write down 5 things you do not want this year related to your art career. You can also do this for your personal life, because I think that is a really brilliant thing to do as well.
Yes.
But yeah, what are the things that you don't want? What are the things you're saying no to? So for me this year is very funny one, but I do not want to bring my dog to the studio. So I have attempted doing this, thinking that it'll be fun and thinking that I will still get things done. But no, I need to pre-organize care. I need to leave her at home, and I need to go to the studio ready to do work. So that has been a funny one that came up through this writing activity. And a big one for me is I want to also say no to new projects or ideas that I have that really take me away from the goals that I've set, because the goals that I've set are hard, and I can tell how I'm reacting to that is, oh, maybe I should add in doing this. And I know it's out of fear.
Distractunities.
It's a distractitude. So it's a very, this is all internal work. And that's what I think is so powerful about doing these reflection pieces. Kaylan, what about you? What are your don'ts and your no's this year?
Yeah, a couple for me are, I don't want to work right up until show deadlines. So, I'm going to implement all of this planning, this mapping out that we're doing, and that will help me not do this where it's like, okay, the work is due on November 8th. So right up until the 7th, I'm, working on these things. And I really hate that feeling. I hate feeling like I don't think I make my best work in those moments. So, really trying to stick to like a greater plan ahead. So I have the buffer time of stuff being done, 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance before a deadline. I also don't want to make prints of my work. Like this is just something that I've said for many years now, but it's a reminder because sometimes I see other artists that I like, kind of doing a series of prints, and I'm just not interested in going through the process of making prints of my work, and writing that no or don't down is beneficial for me. It kind of like gives me permission to say, oh yeah, that's one of my things I just don't do,
Totally.
um, and also, of course, these things can change in the future, but you're setting, these up for your year to help you with this clarity, right?
Well, and like you said, it's like if you changed your mind and you really wanted to
Right.
do prints, you're going to have to go back and sort of reckon with this initial
Yes.
thought and feeling of the year. And that's where I need that for my own projects right now, is that I have written that it is meaningful to me right now. And if I'm going to change that, I have to answer to past Jamie a little bit.
Yes, you
So, and I
do.
might change it, but it's nice that, it's all written down there.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, as artists, it's easy to get overwhelmed by seeing other people like have so much clarity around their careers and what they want to do. And sometimes it's hard for us to know what path we want to go down, like what we want to commit to. But I think, it in some ways it can almost be easier to kind of reverse set your path in that you're saying what you don't want to do, like what you don't want to do or what doesn't feel good to you often is like more instinctual. It's like a gut reaction. And I think it's just really healthy to listen to that knowledge and spend some time, really thinking about, oh, that's the kind of artist I don't want to be. And it's not no judgment on those things, but just really identifying for you, like what feels right and healthy. And by doing that by way of what you don't want to do, it's just a different way to think about it and process and hopefully help bring you clarity.
Well, we live in a time where, and it's amazing, we feel like we have so much choice, but it can get very tiring to be, I can do this, I can drop
Right.
ship, I can do prints, I can do this. And it's, if we're doing so many things, we're probably not doing it all well. So I just think it's so important to have this clarity. It's a good reversal of how to think about your goals, I think, at this time of year, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so we are on to step 3 for how to map out a great art year. And that is one I learned from you, Jamie. I love this, to goal set by quarter. So as Jamie mentioned, you might be surprised that I did not say anything about goals in the first 2 steps. Like that was not a part of the equation up until now. So setting your compass and identifying your intentions and the way you want to feel needs to come first. That's laying the foundation. Goals are so much more about action and putting things in motion, right? And, we kind of feel like you have to work through some things you need to process before you do that. But once you're ready to do that, we would highly recommend goal setting in 3-month chunks. So if you're looking at a year, you're kind of breaking that down into 4 quarters. You may have one goal that will take you all year to accomplish, but we recommend that you look at each quarter and kind of break out that big goal or dream into goals that you plug into your calendar 1 quarter at a time.
And what I love so much about the quarters, it's, why I've been doing it for so long. It's a financial, all small businesses, all businesses are using quarters because it's smart, because you have, 3 months is not so much time to feel overwhelmed. It's very achievable, but it's also enough time to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And even this idea of 6 months, that's too long to really, know where you stand in it. And we've used this sort of planning in the Thriving Artist Map, in the workbook that we've put together. And it's the first time for me that I've ever had something formally do this. This is how I've been planning things. Just blows my mind that you can make something for yourself even.
We made our own resource.
And hopefully all of our members and all of you really get to, enjoy it, and hopefully it works for you. But it just, I think, is going to make the year so much more sustainable and sort of full, richer, bigger picture.
Mhm.
And, it's just such a good way to sort of check in with yourself when you have these quarters set up as well.
Yeah, I think the quarterly, kind of planning, it offers that opportunity more often throughout the year to kind of check in with your intentions, with your compass. If you wrote down your North Star in the Thriving Artist map, you can look at that again each quarter. It's like this invitation to reset, recenter, and check in. And I really believe that we are going to be more impactful as humans, as artists doing the work that we want to do in the world when we're really rooted and grounded in our intentions, when we're not kind of caught up in the chaos of all of the distractunities that come our way. But when we're kind of slowing down and reassessing and redirecting and checking in with ourselves, I just think it's a much healthier, sustainable way to go about this crazy career that we are trying to live out, right?
Totally. And that is, our final step is really to making sure that you have a great art year is to build in check-ins. And
Yes.
we've been doing this all year actually within our community. We have this one that I love, at the end of the quarter, we call it Centering and Celebration. And we do them live at Art and Tea. And we've actually put this into the Thriving Artist map. And, if you're not part of the community and you're thinking, how am I going to do that? It literally is just taking time. Like we take an hour as a community. It's forced reflection,
Right.
but that can be the best kind, And so it's really making sure that you have time to kind of assess what's happening, redirect, but also celebrate what has been done. And in quarterly chunks, it makes it really easy to kind of plan those in, And I
Yes.
know you do that in your own way. I often close off my week. We think about check-ins as throughout your year, you're going to have quarters, but of course, we are organized. So we're doing this every week. I do it on a Friday. I close off my week. I literally mentally say, this is done. What did I get done? What am I going to celebrate? But also, what is Monday going to look for me?
Right. Yeah. And for me, I typically do my weekly check-in on Sunday nights or sometimes Monday morning if I'm still feeling in weekend mode on Sunday night. But it's just this moment, taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, slowing down, looking at to-do lists and kind of resetting for the week. It's so important. So yeah, our step 4, booking check-ins, we recommend a weekly version of this, a quarterly version. And then one of my favorite ways to do a check-in is I actually try to do one once a year where I kind of plan a mini getaway for myself. And this is kind of a time to do like bigger picture checking in, really, thinking about like some of the bigger goals and stuff that I've set for myself. I usually take one night and go stay in a hotel. If that doesn't seem feasible in the season that I'm in, then I simply just take myself out to dinner. And, I order an appetizer and a glass of wine and plan to spend, a good 3 hours at a table by myself with my planner and just sit and think and reflect and, do these prompts that we are, sharing with our community and that Jamie and I have developed. But they're also just prompts that we've picked up along our years of doing this and ones that have really worked for us.
And, this episode is very exciting for us because I think we're both the people that this is fresh. It's a new year. And so the idea to take some time with you today and how to map out a great year is really important to us. So we hope implementing these strategies is going to help you. We'd love to hear feedback and we'd love to know, what was your biggest takeaway from this episode? And just to recap, our steps are first, you're going to set your compass. So this is all about intention. From that, you're going to really identify your don'ts and your no's for the year, which is exciting. This is getting more clear, more clarity. And then you're going to goal set by quarter. So instead of thinking of this whole year, this overwhelming, sense that the years ahead, instead, we're going to break this to quarters. And then you're going to book in your check-ins because really, if we don't have the check-in part, we don't have that assessment, we don't have that celebration and that moving forward. So We love doing this. We hope this was useful for you, and we're excited for your thriving year to come.
Yes. And we would really love to spend the year with you going through this process as a community, giving you resources and cheering you on. That is really at the heart of what we do on the Thrive Together Network. When you join the Thrive Together Network as a member, you get access to our weekly art and tea sessions, including the link to the replay. If you can't make it live, if Tuesdays aren't a good time for you, you still get the link, and many of our members watch them after and kind of come on the network and comment. So there's still that interaction there. You also get access to 2 virtual art residencies a year and all of the tools and programming that we have put together for you to participate in the residencies. You get our Taking Up Space initiative course material, which is how, all of the tools for helping you put on your own art show. You get your own digital copy of the Thriving Artist Map. And if you sign up before January 31st, 2023, we are going to give you a discount code for ordering your physical copy of the Thriving Artist Map, because who doesn't want an actual physical workbook to go through, throughout the year.
Pretty.
It's so pretty. We
So
designed
many
it ourselves.
colors.
We're so excited about it. And just our biggest hope is, that we get to continue to do this work with you and support you in your art careers. And also that Jamie and I are making these tools and this structure so that we can have great art careers too, while we're also doing this work. So we love you all. Head to the thrivetogethernetwork.com to join us, and let's start out a great 2023 together. As always, we are here for you. We're cheering you on, and we believe in the work that you are doing as thriving artists.